Ladies and gentlemen, once I was on a road trip going through Midwestern states, and I encountered a man who called me the N-word. He proceeded to call me racial slurs. Now, understand, I never saw this man before. I'm sure he did not know me, but he did that based upon my race. I have gone into stores and businesses, especially in retail, and employees focus on me and profile me more than people of lighter skin or other races. These are some of my experiences I share with you. But many African Americans, Latinos, Hispanics, Asians, Native Americans experience these situations on a daily basis. And let us not forget that Caucasians also experience racial discrimination, but maybe to a lesser extent. I am positive that some of you in this audience or someone you know has experienced racial discrimination. I have shared a few of my experiences with you, and I did extensive research on the topic, which I will share some of my findings with you. Racial discrimination is insidious. It dehumanizes and demarginalizes human beings. It is a big problem. It constitutes unequal opportunities and resources. It is a problem in our homes, in our schools, in financial institutions, housing, in our churches, in law enforcement, in all areas of life. Let us not teach our children these racial discrimination attitudes, biases, and prejudices in our homes or our schools. Let us eradicate racial discrimination and the institutional and systemic racism that exists. Let us look at the definition of racism. Racism, racial discrimination, is the unequal treatment of persons or groups on the basis of their race or ethnicity. It is based on the belief that one's own race is superior to that of another. It involves prejudices, biases, attitudes, and behaviors. It is often fueled by hate. The equal opportunities, equal employment opportunities of America also prohibits racism in workplaces and defines it as unfavorable behavior towards persons based upon race, and that's employees based upon race, or physical features associated with race such as skin color, hair texture, or facial features. There are so many problems due to racial discrimination, and I can tell you that the ACLU and the Department of Education have shown that black students are more likely to be suspended and expelled from school than white students. And it starts at the preschool stage. Black and brown boys, 10 years old, are perceived as older, more matured, and less innocent. And that is where the suspicion starts to follow them. Black students are expelled and referred to law enforcement like 27% more than white students. And I ask this question: are we creating a school to prison pipeline? Black Americans are incarcerated 5 times more than white persons are. And it is noted that at least in 5 states that figure doubles. It's 10 times more than whites. The Society for Human Resource Management even tells us that discrimination exists against black sounding names on resumes. Can you believe that? You can also go on the website for EEOC and find many cases that have been brought against businesses and companies based on race, discrimination with promotions, wages, you name it. It is very sad. But the Harvard Review also tells us that in 2018, blacks earned 42% less than whites based upon same job, same qualifications. And it is unbelievable that in 2020, that's just last year, there were only four black CEOs at Fortune 500 companies. These are some of the problems that exist, just a few. However, let's look at some solutions now. And we need solutions. We know it is difficult to totally eliminate individual biases. However, we can work on the factors that actually create problems in the decision making. And we can also first look at our biases, examine them, be aware of them, and we can also stop them, nip them in the bud when they start. We also can work on diversity awareness, diversity training to tackle unconscious bias in our homes, in our schools, all those institutions, in law enforcement, the police, the judges, the parole boards. We can do all of this. In addition, Hollywood and the news media need to desist from portraying certain races as the criminals and others as the good guys. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've outlined a few of the problems and solutions, just a few. But I call upon you today, in conclusion, to look at your biases, be aware, and I ask you and I encourage you to make a friend with someone of another race, someone who does not look like you. And I quote, the late Martin Luther King said, and to quote him, "I have a dream that someday my 4 children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character." And I ask you to remember, he said, never be afraid to stand up for a person or an animal. Never be afraid. And as the songwriter Ronnie Dunn says, we all bleed red. We are all the same. I thank you.